Hi, welcome everybody. This is Tom Bacharach from RMC Group, and we are joined again today with Terry Wenzel, Director of Property and Casualty here at RMC, to discuss, as we promised from our last conversation, cyber coverage. So it's an interesting coverage, and with that, I'm going to give it over to Terry.
Thank you, Tom. Yeah, cyber insurance is business liability coverage for data breach. And some good statistics on it. Back in 2020, 78% of all insurance claims were cyber related. I'm sure you've been watching the news. You see come on there about these huge corporations getting hacked and held by ransom. And so, Tom, it's easy to say any type of company needs cyber, but and specifically, what types of concerns should a business owner have?
Well, and thank you, Terry. Yeah, I mean, in this day and age, anybody that's got a computer probably has a concern, either personally or professionally. And it's really for any business that has clients or keeps client information, and specifically things like social security numbers, credit card information, driver's license information. If you're in the dental or health field, any type of health record, would can be considered a HIPAA violation if it was, gained because of a data breach. So there's a lot of ongoing concern, and any type of information that is shared either internally or stored is something that a cyber insurance policy should be covering or should be looking at.
Okay, now that makes sense to me, Tom. Is there certain types of risks that a business owner should be concerned about or should want covered?
Well, great question, Terry. A lot of times when we think of coverages, you think, okay, it's a very one-dimensional type of thought. But in this case, businesses have multiple types of risks that they should be concerned about. The first thing that we're looking at is privacy risk. Those type of things like, is the data or the network on the data secure? Was it looked at? Is that an ongoing concern? What can happen if somebody got in there and looked at it? So it's privacy is the first type of risk. The second is security type of risk. If you have a catastrophic failure, that shuts down this, how are you set up to be able to get that thing back up and running as quickly as possible? And to have you stored it, is it backed up on the cloud? That type of stuff. So there's security risk. And then we get more into more of the business portion of this thing, which is operational risk. Now, a lot of times things like operational risk have to do with employee conduct. And yes, you might have some of that covered on your general liability policy under the employee product liability type of thing. But a cyber coverage goes more in depth because you might have an employee that is doing nefarious acts and causes this breach or violation on purpose. And that is covered unto itself. But there's also what happens if it's an unintentional violation by an employee. I have actually gotten up from my computer in the past and forgotten to shut it down, and then come out at 3:00 in the morning and realize that the computer's still on. Well, if you do that in a business setting, that may open yourself up to somebody coming in and violating the network because it wasn't down. So it was a mistake. It was something unintentional that we need to address, and that is addressed under operational risk under a cyber coverage. And then the final category of risk is really service risk. We are in the business of working with contracts. If this data breach occurs and it shuts you down for a period of time, you may not be able to satisfy some of those contractual obligations you have to your third-party vendors or your clients, which may cause you to be in breach of a contract. So there's a service risk. See, as we talked about before, a lot of people think of cyber coverage or insurance as a one-dimensional type of things, but cyber coverage isn't just protecting you, Terry, or you, the business owner. it's also protecting those vendors, those wholesalers, those clients that if because you got a virus and it transferred to them and it shut them down, you're technically in breach of contract. You can be held responsible for their loss. So it's a third party coverage. It's your coverage, first party, but it's also their coverage, third party coverage. So it's really important to look at this as, how are we looking at this? What is the big role that we need to cover within cyber? Because I don't think the internet or computers are going away anytime soon.
No, I 100% agree with you on that one.
Right, might be really important.
Oh, excellent. Thank you for going into details on that, Tom. So overall, cyber liability insurance can provide valuable protection and a peace of mind to the business owners who are concerned about the risks that are related to cyber threats out there.
Perfect. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. Again, we will be giving you more information as we continue these just brief chats. I think next time we're probably going to have a discussion about maybe loss control and ways to help mitigate those type of things that can help make you more efficient, reduce your premiums, but also run a more effective business. Thank you, Terry.
Thank you, Tom. You have yourself a great day.
You too.